Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and welcome to No Budget Reviews, the series where we go around the country finding cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for under £1,000 and filming them with absolutely no money at all. So we have to use my phone, no microphones, no fancy DSLRs, nothing like that. Just good honest cars that you can buy for very little money and you can enjoy driving. Oh viewers, do I have a treat for you today. This is a 1998 Peugeot 406 V6. It's got a 3-litre V6 engine. This is the same type of car that they actually used in the second car chase in Ronin. It was a blue one. They used both left and right hand drive models in the chase because it was actually easy to film like that. There's a full video about the cars used in Ronin on my channel, which I'll put a link to in the description below, but just looking normally at this, you would have absolutely no idea that this was anything special. This car has been lent to me by Gary, who is one of the channel viewers. If you want to submit your car for No Budget Reviews, then please do get in touch with me, japl745@hotmail.com, as you would have seen in the card that had just come up. The 406 was launched in 1996. It was built in France and also at Brighton-on-Dunsmore, which is near Coventry. It was one of the last Peugeots built there, along with the 206. This car is in absolutely immaculate condition. It was owned by an elderly gentleman who gave up driving before Gary bought it. And one of the great things about this, which means it is proper Ronin spec, is that it's a manual. There's only about 80 406 V6s left. It's a sort of similar type of numbers to my Robert 45 V6. And if we get in, we'll see that we've got some luxury features in here. We've got cruise control, which is activated by there, and then there, like on an old Renault Capture. We've got an electronic immobiliser system here, just like on the Citroen Saxo I like to drive in, which is the most annoying thing in the world. But we've got a nice leather steering wheel. You can see the stitching on there is very nice. Lots and lots and lots of wood, of course. I do like a bit of wood in my cars. We've got a stereo system here that flips up. It's actually a tape deck with a CD multi-changer as well. We have climate control. We have a working digital clock, which is nice. Glove box. Oh, that's very big for secret mission documents. Twin airbags in this car, of course, as well. It's really almost like show standard, this car. It is really nice. Also got the original brochure here for the 406. And you can see you can get a rear spoiler on it, just as well, because the rear visibility of this car is not very good. We've got heated seats. We've got electric seat adjustment. If I just reach over here, we've also got electric windows all round. Obviously these were not available on some of the lower trims. Dashboard does have soft touch on it, just where we've got twin airbags, in case you crash when you're following a BMW 34 through the streets of Paris when you shouldn't really be. Find out the horn is still on here. It's a very old Peugeot Citroen feature, and a lot of older cars like Metros and things had it like that. The instruments are actually made by Sagem, who were or Sagem if you are French, and they were the company that made my first ever mobile phone, which I had back in 2001. They're not called that anymore, actually. They've had this succession of different owners, but yes, French built car, I believe this one is, right, as opposed to a British built one. I think it's time looked under the bonnet of this lovely V6 engine. Well, there we are, viewers. This is what makes this one really stand out. Obviously there were other engines available, such as a 1.8, 2-litre and 2-litre turbo in the pre-facelift car. This is a pre-facelift, but this is what it's all about. a 3-litre V6 engine developing 197 horsepower. 24 valve, of course, belt driven, so you do have to change the cam belts on this, and before Gary bought the car that was actually done, and just as well really, because you know that was something of an expensive job. So obviously if you're buying one of these cars, one of the 80 or so survivors that are still on the roads of this country, make sure the belts have been done, otherwise you're in for a little bit of an expensive bill. Hydraulic gas struts, and of course a nice little under bonnet mat. It's very nice. I do like the sort of understated styling of this car. It really does look quite elegant, I think. Here is the boot. It does have a way that you can actually fold it down, but that would be a right pain to reach that catch there. Look how far back those are. It's quite a long boot. It's not the biggest one, I should think. It's pretty big for a car of this type. Actually got original dealer plates for this car when it was new in March 1998 from Pavilion Motors from Derby. They would be on the car, but actually they failed the MOT for some reason. Full-size spare wheel, of course. I think that's an alloy one as well. But again, you can see how nice the condition of this car is. It's absolutely lovely. Really, really nice. Someone's really looked after this car. Just again, this sort of understated but very elegant styling. I have to say that Peugeot 207 I reviewed on the channel a long time ago, about 18 months ago, was one of the worst cars I'd ever driven, and Peugeot did go through a period of making really, really poor cars, but this is not one of them. This is lovely and I very much like it. So you can see my stuff is in here today. I should have gotten the other side, shouldn't I? So let's move it out of the way. Actually, the inner room is okay. It's not the most legroom I've ever had, but it does help. These seats have a nice cutout in them with a mat pocket as well. You can put your feet underneath there. Headroom is okay. It's not the best I've ever had, but it's all right. I'd imagine this car is slightly bigger than something like a Mondeo, which also was available with the V6 engine, the Mark II, 2.5 litre, I believe it was. It's a bit like a 45 V6 in a way that you do have a little sort of interesting attempt of the door cards to detach themselves from the back of the door. That is a very common thing on Robert 45 V6s as well. But the leather's really nice. The beige interior was an option. It was a no-cost option. Most of them had a black leather interior. Don't know why that is reluctant. Oh, there we go. Ashtray, of course, because it's a French car. Oh, nice, lovely rear armrest, electric windows, and oh yes, door opening warning lights. I love these little door opening warning lights. It's just brilliant. I could get used to this. Could get very used to it indeed. Right, viewers, time for some V6 action. I do like a bit of V6 action. One thing Gary did say to me before taking the car away today was that the steering was very light, and in parking speed, yes, it's very light indeed, particularly for a car of this era. I mean, you know, we live in an age where a lot of cars have variable weight steering, as does my Sanyong. That's got variable weight steering, and if you put that into the comfort mode, it is ridiculously light. I'm hoping that as we get onto a bit faster roads, then it will be a little bit heavier. So we're going to take it on the dual carriageway and we will see how it is. I do apologise for the varying levels of light today. This is no budget reviews after all, so we are just using my phone. Go this way. Oh yes, please. Oh, Gonna definitely catch that BMW, viewers. Definitely in this. You might even, well, think about doing some handbrake turns, but not actually, because we don't want to damage this car. But there is a spectacular handbrake turn in Ronin that I think actually puts Robert De Niro for a full 360 at one point during that car chase, and I can well believe it in this. Most of all though, this car is primarily designed as a motorway cruiser, and you know, I will understand that, but this is also feels very fast, 0 to 60. I believe it's something like 8 seconds or even less. I'll put on the cruise control and be a refined and genteel sort today, shall we? There we are. Nice and relaxing. Chassis feels really good. It was the way Peugeots always used to be. They had excellent chassis at this time. Things like the 205, 306, stuff like that. So the engine's available in 406, and I'm only going to quote the pre-facelift ones because after the facelift in early 1999 it really gets a bit complicated, so we'll stick with just the pre-facelift engines. There was a 1.6 that was available for not very long at all. It developed about 89 horsepower. That was soon replaced by a 1.8 engine of the same power output. There was also a different version of that which developed 110 horsepower. Then there was a 2-litre engine. The engines actually so far came from the old XU family of engines, which have been run for the donkey's years by this stage. 2-litre was 130 horsepower, and there was also a 2-litre turbo, which was 145 horsepower. Then right up top of the range there was this, the V6, not PRV V6. You'd think it possibly might be, but it's not. It's a slightly later type of engine, 2.9 litre, but badges a 3 litre, and that developed 197 horsepower, which is probably enough for some fun anyway. Let's have some more V6 action as we go along here. At this stage there were some XUD diesels, but I mean, you've got V6 action going on. Who wants a diesel? And also, we don't talk about those on this channel anyway. Once again, apologies for the mount in the way. That's just the way it goes, but it does show that we are doing some overtaking. Today we're on the outskirts of Poole, and the roads are actually quite free of traffic today, which is nice. So I've just got the climate control on today, and I'm having a lovely time. The colour of this car is called Diablo Red. The car in Ronin's a slightly different colour to this. It's like a dark blue colour, but you just never know. This is something of a Q car. It just looks so totally under the radar. Trim levels available pre-facelift, if I get this right. L, LX, LXS, GLX, GTX, and we've got SRI, SE, and Executive. The V6, as far as I understand it, actually only had just a V6 badge. I don't think they actually had a trim level. It was just 406 3-litre V6. Obviously post facelift their trim levels were a little bit different. You wanted to go initially for an LX or above to get ABS, which I'd say is a pretty important thing in a car like this. It's just very nice and stable. The steering does weight up considerably when you go faster. I don't know if it's a hydraulic or an electric system. It could actually well be an electric system because it's just so enormously light when you're going slowly, but it could be a hydraulic system, I suppose. Answers in the comments section below. So if we go around this roundabout, we'll be able to assess what the handling's like. Gearbox is sort of typical Peugeot gearbox of the era. This is actually a lovely example. It's done 56,000 miles, which is nothing, but nevertheless it's still got quite a long throw in it. It's a little bit on the notchy side, but I imagine the V6s had a different gearbox than some of the ones lower in range to handle all this power. It's very smooth and easy to drive. The one problem I've got is the rear visibility, because it's not very good. It's not very good at all, but never mind. Right, since we're now back at our starting point, I think it's time to make some conclusions about the 406 V6. So, viewers, should you consider a Peugeot 406? Well, there are still plenty of these around for under £1,000. Not a V6, unfortunately. This did cost a little bit more, so I'm sort of breaking the rules here, but kind of I'm not as well, because we've had plenty of examples of this before on No Budget Reviews, where I've reviewed one that costs a bit more, but you can get other versions for less than £1,000. Obviously, you've got to watch for rust, but actually these don't rust as badly as you think they would. Make sure the timing belts on the engines are done. Some of the interior trim might be a little bit flimsier than some other cars at the time, but actually this isn't too bad. It's incredibly comfortable. It feels very, very sure-footed indeed. It's relatively spacious, and it just slips right under the radar. If you don't want to stand out, but you want to be an action hero, then this might be the car for you. I'm very grateful once again to Gary for letting me film it. If you have a car that you'd like me to feature on the No Budget Reviews, please do send me an email, japl745@hotmail.com. If you missed that, it's in the title card towards the beginning of the video. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And also to visit my Facebook page, facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting, and also Instagram, instagram.com/Lloyd_Vehicle_Consulting. Thank you.